Hi, I'm Mason Pelt with Push ROI, and we're going to be analyzing a recent LA Times article. The article that I mistakenly called an op-ed the first time I recorded this because the quality of it seemed a little bit lacking relative to Russ Mitchell, the author's normal level of editorial rigor, and relative to LA Times in general. The article is called Twitter Bots Help Build the Cult of Elon Musk and Tesla, but Who's Creating Them? And is based on a paper by David A. Kirst, an associate professor of management and entrepreneurship at University of Maryland. Kirst has his PhD in history and has written a fair bit of published academic work in the past, though none of it relates to social media bots. Additionally, this paper, the reason I put it in quotes is because it doesn't exist. It's not peer-reviewed, it's not in preprint, and based on some of Professor Kirst's tweets, the paper isn't something that could be shared out, and certainly it hasn't been shared out widely yet. It seems to still be developing. Here's the problem I have. Botometer is not a super reliable tool. It's been known to be an unreliable tool for some time. There's a preprint study. Now, you can criticize the fact that it's a preprint on the SSRN server, written by Florian Gelwig and Michael Creel. I believe I am butchering both of those names. The Rise and Fall of Social Bot Research is the title. And the gist of it is, in reviewing a bunch of different papers that used Botometer, they tried to re-examine and validate that the bots were in fact bots, and found that a very high percentage of the time, the bots weren't bots. The bots were people. It isn't just the one paper on the one preprint server. PLOS1, an open access peer-reviewed journal, published The False Positive Problem of Automatic Bot Detection in Social Media Science Research by Adrian Rothfleich and Jonas Kaiser, whose names I'm sure I butchered. This study had similar findings to the preprint I referenced earlier. The peer-reviewed journal Big Data and Society also ran a paper that was rather critical of the efficacy of automated bot detection, specifically using Botometer. The paper, written by Francisca Martini, copying out here with an et al., is titled Bot or Not, Comparing 3 Methods of Detecting Social Bots in 5 Political Discourses. There's quite a bit of false positive. Now, you can argue there's some false negative too, and so with enough data, Botometer works well. I've used Botometer as a tool in my professional job here at Push ROI and in things that I've written in the past, as well as in data projects that people just don't see that I've worked on. It's not a bad tool. It is a flawed tool. And in fact, Florian Gelwig actually tweeted a couple of photos of Elon Musk's Twitter as rated by Botometer from a few minutes apart. He was more bot-like at one point than another based on what he was tweeting at the time. So there are some flaws to the tool. Now, the LA Times article is written with what I would term journalistic speculation, saying, according to this, based on Botometer, there is reason to believe that blah, blah, blah. The thing about Elon Musk is the meme of a Simpsons character jumping in front of a bullet titled Weird Nerds, Valid Criticism, Elon Musk sums up most of his relationship with his public. When I start looking at the credibility I find Botometer to have, and when I start looking at the behavior that is described by the report, I think it's more likely that we had false positives on a bot testing tool, and we had a whole bunch of weird nerds, and not just using their own account, their main account. Lots of people have backup accounts for various things. They might not do much with them. They might use them to follow a certain type of account. Maybe they don't ever want to risk liking an adult video on main. Maybe they behave like trolls, which is a thing people do. I can imagine someone who's a fan of Elon Musk using 2 or 3 of their accounts to push something up. Now, this doesn't mean there weren't bots. There well could have been. But it does mean that the sort of speculation that Elon used botnets to push up Tesla stock or build his cult of personality is based on some research that isn't reviewed, isn't even published in preprint, so it can't be analyzed, and uses a flawed tool orchestrated by someone whose general practice area when it comes to research is not social bots.